Hello friends, in today's video lecture we are going to discuss about a new topic, that is enzymes, right? So in this enzyme topic we are going to discuss about introduction about the enzymes, right? So what are the properties of enzyme, what is the structure of enzyme, right? Okay, and discovery or history of the enzyme. Okay, so first here is, in ancient days what happens, the enzymes are the ancient days humans use enzyme for purpose of fermentation. Okay, they use for fermentation to produce wine. Okay, and also to be used in preparation of cheese and vinegar. Okay, so in ancient days, in earlier days, what happens, the people used to ferment they used to enzyme for the fermentation purpose, right? So fermentation to produce wine, to fermentation to produce cheese and vinegar, but those people don't know that what is the exact phenomena of the enzymes, what is the exact work of the enzyme. Okay, the enzyme was first predicted by a scientist called John Jacob Berzelius. Okay, so John Jacob Berzelius is the one scientist who predicted that there are some substances which can help in the fermentation or increase in the rate of reaction. Okay, so in 1835, after that a scientist Kenney in 1878 discovered some cells. Those cells are dead cells of yeast. Okay, so after John Jacob Berzelius, there is one another scientist named Kenney. What he discovered? He discovered that some dead cells of the yeast. So those dead cells of the yeast can ferment sugar. Okay, so those cells will help in the fermentation of the sugar. And he used one term, that is enzyme. Okay, so first the term enzyme is used by the Kenney. Okay, so what do you mean by enzyme? So if you see the meaning of the enzyme, N means in, zyma means yeast, right? So this scientist mainly found enzymes as dead cells of the yeast, means inside the yeast. So that is nothing but N means in and zyma means yeast. Okay, and next one is that the molecular structure of enzymes. How enzymes can be made and their structure of the enzyme. Okay, so first point here is enzymes are proteins. This is the important. This is protein, right? So all enzymes are proteins, but all proteins are not enzymes. Okay, so enzymes are protein with high molecular weight, right? They have high molecular weight and they are amphiteric as well as colloidal in state. So first point is that they are protein and they are amphiteric, means they can act as both acid as well as base, and they are in colloidal state, they are in colloidal nature. Okay, so the mainly enzymes exist in two forms. Okay, so enzymes can be the shape of the enzyme or enzyme can be exist in two forms. So first one is that simple protein molecules and second one is the conjugated protein molecules, right? So enzymes that can be exist in two forms. One is simple protein molecules and second one is conjugated protein molecules. Okay, so simple protein molecules, as the name indicating, right? So they are proteins. All the enzymes are proteins, right? Containing only amino acids. These are the enzymes which contains only amino acids. And second one is the conjugated proteins. As the name indicates, conjugated means connected, right? So they are proteins with attached non-protein groups, right? Protein with non-protein group is nothing but the conjugated proteins. Proteins with only amino acids are nothing but the simple protein molecules or simple enzymes. Okay, so the conjugative enzymes have two parts, right? Conjugative enzymes have two parts. One is the apoenzyme and another one will be the prosthetic groups, right? So conjugated means connected form, protein with non-protein part. Okay, so that non-protein part can be two types, that is a conjugative enzyme may be two types. One is apoenzyme and second one is the prosthetic enzyme. Apoenzymes are nothing but these compose only amino acids. Okay, the apoenzymes compose only amino acids, but in case of prosthetic groups, they compose a non-protein group, right? They compose a non-protein group. Okay, the enzyme molecule consisting of protein and prosthetic group. In this case, there are some enzymes which have a protein as well as prosthetic group. Okay, so those enzymes are called as the holoenzymes, right? The enzyme with protein and prosthetic group are called as the holoenzyme. Okay, and the prosthetic group may be an inorganic cofactor. Okay, we told that prosthetic group is nothing but the protein with non-protein group, right? So in case of prosthetic group, what happens? The prosthetic group may be inorganic cofactor or it may be organic coenzyme. Suppose inorganic ion, metal, whatever it may be, if that is present, that is called as the cofactor. If any organic forms are present, that is called as the coenzyme. Okay. Usually, inorganic factors are metal associated with catalytic properties of the enzymes. Okay. So in this case, what happens? Inorganic factors are metals. This is the point. Inorganic factors are metals and they are associated with catalytic properties of enzymes. Okay. So in case of enzyme have one specific or one special pocket-like structure that is called as the catalytic group. Okay. So these inorganic metals is attached with the catalytic property or catalytic part of the enzyme. Okay. The metals known to be cofactors, those metals are called as the cofactors for enzymes are the metal may be copper, it may be iron, it may be zinc, it may be calcium, or it may be potassium and cobalt, right? So this is about the prosthetic group. Suppose there is inorganic prosthetic group. Okay, so in case of inorganic prosthetic group, what happens? They have the metal associated with the catalytic property of the enzyme. So the metal may be copper, iron, zinc, cobalt, potassium, and okay, whatever it may be. And second point is that an organic cofactor. In case of organic cofactor, what happens? The organic cofactors are generally act as donor or acceptor of the atoms, right? So in case of organic cofactor, what happens? These organic cofactors are generally act as donor or as well as or acceptor. It can take and it can give the atoms. Give the atoms that are added or removed from the substrate, right? So these organic cofactors are those which have the capacity to donate or to gain the atoms from the substrate. Many coenzymes play a very important role in oxidation reduction reaction, right? So coenzyme is nothing but the organic compound or organic metal ions or whatever organic form with the enzyme, right? So these coenzymes will help in many reactions, that is oxidoreduction reactions like nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. This is nothing but the cofactor or coenzyme, right? And coenzyme A, right? And next one is the flavin mononucleotide FN. These are the coenzymes which will help in the many biochemistry reaction, many biochemical reaction, right? So this is about the molecular structure of the enzymes. Okay. The next one is the general structure of enzyme. That is nothing but the structure of enzyme. Okay. So in case of structure of enzyme, the enzymes are mostly globular proteins, right? So enzymes are proteins, but they are if you see the shape, they may be globular proteins, right? And they have primary, secondary, tertiary, and in some cases, that is in multi-enzyme cases, they have the quaternary structures, right? So initially, in general, the structure of the enzymes is globular proteins, right? And in globular proteins, they have primary, secondary, tertiary, and in some cases, that is nothing but in multi-enzyme cases, they have the quaternary structure of the proteins. Okay. And second, the structure of protein imparts shape to the enzymes and also forms a pocket-like structure. Okay. So the structure of the enzymes will provide one particular shape to the enzyme and also provide one pocket-like structure. So that pocket-like structure is nothing but the active site where the substrate will be fixed. Okay, where in which the substrate will fix, right? And next point is that the active site is composed of few amino acids, right? So active site is nothing but a special pocket-like structure where the substrate will be fit. Okay, so that special pocket, that active site consists of few amino acids. Those have some few amino acids that are close to each other. Those amino acids are close to each other in case of tertiary structure. Okay, the enzymes which possess tertiary structure of proteins, they have the few number of amino acids in their active site which are present very close to each other, right? And next one is that, but may be far apart. Okay, may be far apart in the sequence of amino acid in primary structure. Okay, so those enzymes which having a primary structure of protein, having a few number of amino acids in their catalytic property or catalytic site, active site. Okay, so those are maybe apart from each other. The next point is that the amino acids provides acidic, basic, hydrophobic and hydrophilic groups to interact with substrate and catalyze the reaction, right? So these amino acids, those amino acids which are present in the catalytic site or which are present in the active site, they will provide acidic, basics, hydrophobic or hydrophilic groups to interact with substrate, okay, and catalyze the reaction. Okay, and next one is the general properties of the enzymes. In case of general properties, they are active, extremely active when they are present in small amounts, right? So they are active extremely in small amounts, that is in a biochemical reactions only a small amount of enzyme is required, okay, to convert a large amount of substrate. Okay, in case of enzymes, what happens? These enzymes are not required in huge amount or large amount. Only a minute amount, only a small amount of enzyme is required to complete the whole reaction. Okay, and the number of mole of substrate converted per minute, okay, the number of mole of substrate converted per minute by 1 mole of enzyme is called as the turnover number of the enzymes. Okay, so the number of moles of substrate can be converted per minute by only 1 mole of enzyme. That is called as the turnover number of the enzyme reaction. Okay, and next point is that under stable condition, okay, under stable condition the enzymes remain unaffected. Okay, usually what happens, these enzymes will catalyze the reaction, right? So their activity can be kept constant or kept unchanged when the conditions are stable. Okay, at the stable condition only they will work efficiently. Okay, and unaffected by the reactions, they catalyze. The enzymes does not affect equilibrium of the reaction. This is important, right? Because enzymes usually what they did, they catalyze the reaction. Okay, so they will not affect the equilibrium of the reaction. This is very important. They will not affect the equilibrium of the reaction. Thus, it speed up reaction in direction. Instead of altering the equilibrium, what they do, they will speed up the reaction in a direction and brings equilibrium of the reaction at very faster rate or at the faster rate. Okay, so these enzymes will not affect equilibrium of the reaction. Instead of affecting the equilibrium of the reaction, what they are doing, they will they are speeding up the direction of the reaction and brings the equilibrium of the reaction in very faster rate. And third property is that the enzymes are specific in nature. This is also important. Enzymes are specific in nature, that is, an enzyme that catalyzes one reaction. Suppose there is one enzyme catalyzing the one reaction, is the enzyme will not catalyze the another reaction. For example, A is the one enzyme which catalyzing the reaction B plus C. Okay, so B plus C is the reaction. Okay, so this reaction is catalyzed by the A enzyme. Okay, and there is another one reaction, that is E plus F. Let us consider E plus F is the one reaction. Okay, so this A enzyme will not catalyze the E plus F reaction. It only catalyze only one reaction, that is B plus C. That's why the term is used. Enzymes are specific in nature. The specific reactions are catalyzed by the specific enzymes. That is, an enzyme that catalyzes the one reaction may not catalyze the another. Okay. And next is that the enzymes are thermolayable. The enzymes are thermolayable in nature. The enzymes are thermolayable in nature. That is, they generally work over narrow range of temperature. This is important. Okay. So what happens here? The enzymes are thermolayable. Okay, they does not require much temperature for their reaction. They require only narrow range of temperature to complete the reactions. Okay. Okay, that is the optimum temperature. So at the optimum temperature, the enzymes will catalyze the reaction very efficiently. Okay, if there is decline in activity, okay, if there is decline, means there is decrease in the activity of the enzyme, that only happen when the temperature is not in optimal condition. Okay, this is the point here. The optimum temperature. Okay, there is decline in activity both above and below the optimum temperature, right? So if the optimum temperature is high, at that time also the enzyme efficiency will be decreased. If the optimum temperature is below, at that time also the efficiency of the enzymes will be decreased. Okay, so this is all about the introduction about the enzymes, right? I hope this video is helpful for you. Thank you.